Daisy will be continuing the What If Civilization Restarted series, and while I named a few empires, only 5, let's go over them. Well, I decided to go for the Beige Empire. The new name will be Lunsden und. Yeah, random names. The Orange Empire can be Fruit and. Yeah. And then the Green Empire, I gave the Ionian Empire. Yeah. And let's go to the Yellow Empire, which is this nation. And I called it Zinza. Yeah, Zinza. And let's go to the Golden Empire. We'll name that from now on Nolat Empire. Only a few are named now, but more can be named later. And well, let's get into it. Expanding, for the last while wants more land. And just like that, war erupts with the Red Nation. Who will win? Also, I don't have the Red Nation name yet, but I need a name for it. And well, in the beginning, they're succeeding. And well, huge amounts of lands are taking over. Especially along this front. And well, the front to the south expands to help supply to here as they launch an attack down the coast. And well, forces move like this. And this leads to them being pushed back significantly. The Blue Nation is starting to entering, but they don't. And just like that, an offensive begins, pushing them back in their main front that they attacked upon. Which pushes them back a lot of kilometers. I don't know how many. Because we don't have a legend on this map to tell me. And well, over here the forces advance. But up here in the north, they continue advancing. And they even open up the front even broader. But this empire continues its attack over here, with a direct attack happening. They send forces over here to try to encircle it, but it is a failure. And you think it's going to work, right? Oh, they launch an offensive over here. While all those forces are distracted, and an offensive over here, headed to the north. And well, they end up in trouble with their front line collapsing. And they end up with these two fronts pushed back. And well, this nation loses hundreds of forces against them. Maybe even, no, thousands, tens of thousands. And well, a few nations probably want revenge but can't grab it. And well, the Ionian Empire is not having fun. Or the Green Empire. Because we just changed it to have names. Dark Red Nation pushes them back even further. But then a counter-offensive starts, which pushes them back here into the border over here. And then they launch an offensive here, kicking them back across the border. Now they're fully across the border, no forces left in. And well, this isn't going well. So they agreed a peace treaty to get out of this situation. Area and there they made an occupation zone, which they will occupy. But they're prohibited from doing anything. But the nation here, being so strong, they have been ready for this moment. They declare full-on independence. And this nation was about a pinkish color. No, lighter. Yes, this color about. And well, that's a major event. I guess they didn't want. And then against this empire, guess who decides to start stuff? This nation. But no one else wants to take anything. As they land over here in the southern part of this nation, they quickly have a setup that they can start an offensive over here against these two allies. And well, as they advance across the coast and over here, they decide to launch an offensive over here for two reasons. It'll make it harder for them to get supplies in due to the mountains, and it might be able to push them back. And over here, the front falls back. But they focus a lot over here to hold them back from the coast as they solidify their gain. Not solidify, what's the word? Maybe it is solidify, but I feel like it's another word. And well, they get pushed back. And well, and then they move up here. Eventually, this nation decides to surrender. In hopes the treaty isn't too harsh, but it's going to be pretty harsh. Not necessarily look like too much land, but you'll see land. With a border dispute over this land here, the access this red nation has to the coast being created, this nation claims is still part of theirs. But with this nation refusing to hand them over lands, with this being strategical lands, they quickly launch an offensive here along the coast to neutralize this advantage. And then they cross over here. And over here. With the red nation needing to hold on to this. But with failure to capture enough land, they do cross, but it doesn't really make a difference. But they do hold them from connecting these two fronts. This nation thinking if they start an offensive over here, will get them what they need. An advantage. With forces ending up close to encirclement, so this red nation withdraws them. And well, and over here they continue their offensive. With them continuing their offensive down here. And now they have a chip in case negotiations don't go well. This nation's ending up with more reasons to attack, so they launch one over here. With this area of this nation falling. And well, all they try to negotiate is to keep this, which they manage to take back. This nation, fueled by anger for this, launches a strong offensive. But it fails to do two key things. Take back this area, which is a key area, allowed them to move and cross the border, and B, it didn't secure anything valuable. They pushed them back from the river, the Mississippi, which is what we would call it. Don't know what they would call it. They realized their mistake, but far too late. But the longer they attack, the worse the terms will get for them. They don't really see it. And while over here, in this land, they decide to move in. Disputed, I guess, maybe. And then over here. But with that, two nations holding strong. But eventually, this nation withdraws from here. And this nation withdraws from two areas. Over here, and then a third, actually. So let's see the peace treaty has lost. That land and in that northern patch. But quickly after that, the Green Nation launches another war against this nation for not upholding its alliance, which probably would have done nothing. But they quickly overrun this nation, and then they annex it, and now they're stronger. Oh wait, I just realized I might have brought back the Mexican Empire. No big deal. This continent having 3 countries now. With this northern nation deciding to invade this nation. And they take it over. And well, what else can we do? Oh, that's not the end of it. The Beige Nation and this nation decides to sign an alliance against the rest of the continent, basically. But they do try to align with the Pink Empire, but they don't really get that. So they align with this nation that was just attacked, leading to this nation moving closer to that nation. And well, that's all for today's video. Please like, subscribe, and comment. Wild Mapper out, and until